I've played poor games. I've played good games. There are certain games that go beyond that metric and can only be described as trouble, 15 points. Quarrel takes two things that I'm not too terribly enthusiastic about and melds them together into a dangerous combination of military tactical acumen and combinatorial linguistic challenge. I've never been too big on Scrabble or Words with Friends or whatever the kids are calling it these days, and I've always found Risk to be too random in its execution, what with the dice rolling everywhere. But Quarrel melds these two into a word game where strategic movement gives you an advantage, TJ like, and success in combat is based entirely upon your own ability to recognize and quickly decide upon a course of action, TJ like even more. Two near misses for me have somehow blended into an epoxy 20 points that threatens my free time, and my non-free time for that matter, with excessive force. Quarrel makes its way to the Xbox Live Arcade following its success on iOS devices and has expanded to support your avatar's dancing and pouting as you compete in 2 to 4 player skirmishes across vaguely tropical linguistic battlefields. You command a force of letter-carrying troops, which may be soldiers, pirates, robots, ninja, the list goes on. By challenging an adjacent territory, you compete in a showdown 21 points of linguistic wit, wherein you attempt to make the highest scoring word from a pool of 8 letters. However, you can only form a word as long as the number of troops you have in the skirmish, 20 points, making strategic deployment a key element of victory. And even if you're not involved in a particular conflict, you can still try your hand at constructing that round's word just for practice and a bit of bonus cash. Each word you create brings you treasure and the spoils of war. Each territory you overtake brings more funds. Each conquest with a rampaging squadron, 27 points, that is, one thrice victorious this turn, brings more funds, and routing an opponent gives you their entire bank. These treasures are used to reinforce your numbers at the beginning of a conflict, allowing a greater chance for survival, 21 points. Game modes include quick matches, which challenge you according to your word IQ, a single-player campaign 20 points mode against a progression of opponents, or for the truly pompous out there, flesh and blood foes via Xbox Live. Unfortunately, since your verbal selection is meant to be secret until the moment of the big reveal, there's no local multiplayer. You'll have to prove the dominance of your lexicon in some other form. My only real grievance with the game is that the soundtrack can get a little obnoxious at times. It lays very heavily on a piercing 15 points jazz trumpet, like someone's in the back strangling Al Hurt. Aside from that, the sound effects of your jovial troops are refreshing and adorable, at least when you're winning. Curse you, Snoop Dogg imposter, 16 points in your band of hyperliterate Scotsmen. Quarrel is a dangerous little diversion. If you're looking for a tactical brainbuster that relies on your own quick thinking, you've come to the right place. If you're looking for an engaging 17-point single-player experience that'll improve your performance at Words with Friends as a byproduct, you've come to the right place. But be warned, you run the risk of addiction, which may manifest in long, sleepless hours of linguistic domination, dreams haunted by aborigines bearing letters, and, in extreme cases, analysis of your every utterance in terms of letter score. I may have already fallen victim to at least 2 of those symptoms, 22 points.